10 behaviors a person with self-respect will never tolerate. Self-respect is not just about feeling good about yourself. It's a profound commitment to maintaining your dignity and ensuring that your interactions and experiences reflect your true worth. When you have self-respect, certain behaviors from others simply don't make the cut because they conflict with your self-image and principles. 10. Neglect. A person with self-respect understands their worth and the importance of being treated with care and attention. Neglect, whether in personal relationships or professional settings, is often subtle but deeply felt. It can manifest as consistently being overlooked for opportunities, ignored in conversations, or forgotten in social settings. These experiences can slowly erode a person's self-esteem as they start to feel undervalued and invisible. When someone with self-respect perceives that they are being neglected, they take proactive steps. They might address the issue directly with those involved, asking clearly and confidently for what they need. If the neglect continues, they are prepared to remove themselves from relationships or situations where they are not seen or valued. 9. Dishonesty. Integrity is non-negotiable for those who respect themselves. Dishonesty, whether through lies, omissions, or deceit, is fundamentally at odds with the principles of a person who values integrity. Being lied to can create feelings of betrayal and disrespect, suggesting that the liar deemed them unworthy of the truth. For someone with self-respect, honesty in interactions is critical, serving as the foundation of trust and respect in any relationship. Confronting dishonesty involves clear communication and setting boundaries. If someone lies to a person who holds self-respect, they will address the issue directly, expressing how the dishonesty has impacted them and setting clear expectations for future interactions. 8. Manipulation. Manipulation is a sinister behavior that seeks to control or influence others for one's gain, often at the emotional or psychological expense of the person being manipulated. It can be as overt as guilt-tripping or as subtle as gaslighting. People with self-respect are particularly sensitive to manipulation, as it directly challenges their autonomy and integrity. Recognizing manipulation requires keen awareness and understanding of one's emotions and the dynamics of interactions. Individuals with self-respect respond to manipulation by reinforcing their boundaries and refusing to engage in the manipulative dynamics. They assert their perspectives and needs firmly and decline to participate in any behavior that feels coercive or deceitful. 7. Disrespectful communication. Disrespectful communication can range from name-calling and mocking to more subtle forms like chronic interruption or dismissiveness. For someone with self-respect, how they are spoken to is a reflection of how they are valued by others. Accepting disrespectful communication often leads to diminished self-esteem and can normalize a toxic interaction pattern. People who respect themselves demand respectful communication. When faced with disrespect, they do not hesitate to point it out and request a change in how they are addressed. If the behavior persists, they are prepared to distance themselves from the offending party. Their commitment to maintaining respectful interactions is both a reflection of their self-worth and an essential element of their relationships. 6. Physical or emotional abuse. Abuse, whether physical or emotional, is the most blatant violation of personal boundaries and self-respect. It includes any behavior that harms, controls, or diminishes the personhood of another individual. For those with self-respect, tolerating abuse is out of the question. They recognize that no relationship, no matter how deep or long-standing, justifies harm. Responding to abuse often requires significant courage and support. A person with self-respect will seek help from professionals, trusted friends, or support networks to extricate themselves from abusive situations safely. They understand that their primary responsibility is to their well-being and health, and they take the necessary steps to protect themselves and recover from any abuse they have endured. 5. Being taken for granted. Being taken for granted can make a person feel unappreciated and invisible. It often involves a lack of acknowledgement for effort and contributions, whether at home, in relationships, or at work. A person with self-respect notices when their efforts are consistently overlooked and undervalued, and they see this as a signal that their presence and contributions are not being appropriately appreciated. In such situations, they will communicate their feelings clearly and assertively, expressing the need for acknowledgement and change. If the pattern continues, they are likely to reconsider their investment in the relationship or situation, focusing their energies where they are recognized and valued. Their self-respect drives them to seek environments that affirm their worth and contributions. 4. Inequality in relationships. A balanced relationship, be it personal or professional, operates on the principles of equality and mutual respect. A person with self-respect will quickly identify when they are being treated as less than or when there is a significant imbalance in the give and take of a relationship. This can manifest in always having to conform to the other person's schedule, preferences, or needs without consideration for their own. Addressing this imbalance involves open and honest communication about the nature of the relationship and what needs to change. For someone with self-respect, enduring an unequal relationship is not an option. They require a dynamic that respects their contributions and treats their needs and desires with the same importance as those of others in the relationship. 3. Lack of support. Support is a fundamental aspect of any healthy relationship. When a person with self-respect goes through challenging times or endeavors to achieve something significant, they expect a reasonable level of support from their close connections. A lack of support can manifest as indifference towards someone's struggles or failures to acknowledge their achievements. A self-respecting individual will address the lack of support directly, seeking to understand whether it's an oversight or indicative of a deeper issue in the relationship. If it becomes apparent that their supposed supporters are not willing to provide the necessary care and encouragement, the self-respecting person may reconsider the value and viability of these relationships. 2. Being overlooked or undervalued. In both personal and professional contexts, being overlooked for promotions, not being considered for projects, or generally being undervalued can be deeply demoralizing. A person with self-respect is keenly aware of their abilities and contributions and expects to be recognized appropriately. When overlooked, they take initiative. They may seek feedback, clarify their aspirations, and assert their capabilities. If the situation does not improve, a person with self-respect will consider making changes, such as seeking new opportunities where their talents and efforts will be better appreciated. They refuse to remain in places where they are consistently undervalued, knowing that their skills and contributions are worthy of recognition and that there are environments where this will be the case. 1. Compromising personal values. At the top of the list is the refusal to compromise on personal values. Values are the guiding principles in our lives. They dictate our behaviors and decisions and shape our interactions with others. For someone who holds themselves in high regard, compromising on these core beliefs for the sake of convenience or pressure is unacceptable. When faced with situations that demand they go against their values, self-respecting individuals stand their ground, regardless of the consequences. They recognize that any success or relationship built by compromising their values will be hollow and ultimately unsatisfying. Maintaining integrity involves making tough decisions, but for someone with self-respect, these decisions are fundamental to preserving their sense of self and leading an authentic life. So guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. For more interesting content, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. For more awesome content, have a nice day and I will see you in the next video.